Well, Kim, did you and Kyle do it? Connie asked hopefully. Kim answered without enthusiasm, yes, we did it. Come on, girlfriend. Post all the juicy details. It was the worst sex of my life. I want to kill you for talking me into this. What? I thought Kyle was supposed to be an amazing lover and a good guy in bed. Maybe, according to him. But in fact, he's like a sack of shit. It's a burlap sack that he's put in before he's thrown into the river. Oh my God, this sounds terrible. Tell me what happened. It was the last evening at the conference. Kyle has been pestering me this whole time. In the end, I decided to take your advice and do it. I think he almost went crazy when I invited him into my room. He immediately began to undress. Before I knew it, we ended up in bed. After a few minutes of sex, it was over too quickly. He ruined everything. Kyle immediately started apologizing and blaming me for being so damn hot that he couldn't help himself. He promised that he would do better the second time. He came to his senses pretty quickly, and we had sex again. He lasted a little longer, but I was still no closer to feeling the increasing pleasure. To top it all off, he started boasting, "I hope your experience with me doesn't spoil you for your husband." I almost laughed in his face. My experience with him would not have spoiled me and would not have ruined my relationship with my husband. What are you going to do? First of all, I no longer listen to you about men and about sleeping with any of them. Secondly, I'm still trying to decide whether I should tell Martin or not. Of course, you shouldn't tell him. I mean, you two were careful not to be noticed, weren't you? No one else from the office was at the conference, so no one knows except you, me, and him. The problem is that I think I would have had a chance of forgiveness by confessing to Martin if I had portrayed it as a one-time mistake that would never happen again. If I try to hide it and he finds out later, I think he might get angry enough to divorce me. Even if he never finds out, I'll still have to live with the secret hanging over my head for the rest of my life. This is a difficult decision. What are you going to do? I'm going to wait a little and think about it. Maybe later my choice will become clearer. Connie jokes, well, if you do tell him and he divorces you, can I sleep with Marty right away? No way, bitch. They both laughed. Kim was working at her desk when Kyle walked into her office as if he owned the place. He locked the door behind him and looked at Kim with a smirk on his face. Hey, sweet cheeks, do you have time for a quickie? You mean a quick kick to the groin? Yes, I have time for this. Come on, Kim. Don't try to play hard to get right now. We both know you want another round of treatment with Dr. Kyle. You're a selfish, thick-headed idiot. I will not touch you again, especially since I have a great desire to beat you with all my might and eventually throw you out of the office like a stinking and dirty goat. Oh, now I understand. Are you into violence? Anyway, I can go for it, as long as you don't leave any marks, scratches, bites, or bruises for my wife to see. Can you go for it? Do you idiot see the door? This is where you can go. Kim, I notice some indecisiveness and great irritation in your behavior towards me, and I see no desire to be with me again. Do I need to remind you that I know what we did and how sharing that knowledge could cause problems in your marriage? Oh, really? Do you know what my husband does for a living? I heard he's some kind of weak-minded college professor. Yes, he actually teaches at the college during the week. However, on weekends, he teaches martial arts to the police and sheriff's departments. He was an officer in the army. It won't take him more than 5 seconds to take you to the ground and end you forever. Kyle looked less confident. Kim, do you really want to risk your marriage? How about being together one last time? Sex with me is the dream of many women, you know. I doubt my marriage will be in danger when I explain how you got me drunk. It was you who suggested we smoke weed, and in the end, I don't remember how, you slept with me. I didn't want this. I didn't want to cheat on my husband, and you meanly took advantage of the fact that I was in an insane condition. My deepest desire was only to prevent the disgrace that would fall on my poor husband. Not only will he forgive my bad behavior, but he will also take out all his anger on you, asshole. The question is, do you want this meeting to be your last, the last time you do anything on your feet? Kyle was almost stuttering. It seems I caught you in a bad mood. I don't think this is the best time of the month for you. Now, I'll go back to my office. Let me know when you're ready for a rematch. Ciao, idiot. As soon as Kyle left her office, Kim screamed at herself, "Fool! Fool! Fool! Fool!" She called Connie to meet her after work. "Kim, you look upset." Martin didn't find out anything, did he? No, at least not yet. Kyle threatened to tell Marty everything if I didn't continue to have sex with him. Oh my God. Are you going to give in and do this to him again? Hell no. I threatened him back. I told him that my husband teaches martial arts to the police. Both women laughed. I think my threat worked, but it makes me urgently decide whether to tell Martin or not. Kim, have you ever heard about the stories on the site bestweapon.ru on the internet? I heard some comments about some stories from the site. Why do you ask? Well, they have stories divided into categories. In the cheating section, they have many stories about women who were given second chances by their husbands, especially in the first stories published. And what? You should read these stories. Find out all the excuses, explanations, and promises these cheating women made to get forgiveness. Then you'll have a list of things to say to Martin when you tell him about your date with Kyle. This should greatly improve your chances of being forgiven. Of course, you've been wrong about Kyle before, but what you just advised me makes sense. What's the website address, you say? bestweapon.ru. Kim read hundreds of stories on bestweapon.ru about reconciliation at any cost. If she encountered a story of betrayal and revenge, she moved on. After a while, she made a list of potential excuses she could use against Martin. This gave her the courage to open up to him. One Friday night, Kim prepared Martin's favorite dish and served it with wine. After the food was eaten, they took their glasses of wine and walked into the living room. Soon they were sitting comfortably on the sofa. When Martin seemed happy and relaxed enough, Kim approached the topic cautiously. "Marty, I'm so happy to be married to you. I feel like I am the happiest woman in the world. You are so attentive, caring, patient, and forgiving. Sometimes I think I don't deserve you. Kim, you deserve me and every bit of my love and more. I swear, I fall in love with you more and more every day." They kissed tenderly. "Do you know what made me fall in love with you even more a few months ago?" "No, what?" "It was the day when I had an accident and a dented car fender, and it was my fault. I was so sure that you would be angry with me. I was terribly worried about this. I even thought about not telling you and fixing it without your knowledge. But I realized that I can't do this to you. I'm glad I believed in your love for me and told you. You were so kind and loving that you did not blame me and encouraged me. I felt so relieved. That's when my love became even deeper. Honey, I love you so much." Kim once again sensually kissed her beloved husband. "Kim, I'm really glad you think so. I want you to feel safe to tell me anytime you feel like you've done something wrong. I promise you the same. I can't think of anything you could do that would make me love you any less. I love you too," Kim thought. "It's now or never. Marty, I have to confess something else that I was too scared to tell you before. Please promise that you won't get angry or yell at me." "Kim, I would never do that. What do you want to tell me? It can't be that bad." "Well, do you remember when I went to that conference in Dayton a few weeks ago?" "Yes, and I really missed you." He grinned. "On the last evening of the conference, my colleagues and I sat in my room, drinking, talking, and just letting off steam after 3 days of sitting through boring lectures. Since it was my room, I didn't worry about how much I drank. After a couple of hours and a few more drinks, people gradually began to leave until it was just me and this young guy from California. He was a typical surfer guy, ruggedly handsome, quite muscular, and had a nice tan. Anyway, he pulled a joint out of his pocket and asked me if I wanted to take a drag. I haven't smoked it since college, and the last one I tried wasn't that strong. I didn't think there was anything special about it. We went out onto the balcony to smoke. Again, I felt safe in my room, so I agreed to try. It turned out to be significantly stronger than any other weed I've ever smoked. Before I knew it, he was kissing me all over. I swear I don't remember the details. I was a little out of my mind. especially since I drank a lot. It took Kim a moment to fight back her tears. Oh, Martin, I had sex with him that night. I don't remember too much. I woke up the next morning and was horrified to think about what I had done. I cried for an hour straight until I had to pack my things to leave in time. I managed to get myself cleaned up and looking presentable before I got home. Honey, I'm so sorry. I made a big mistake. I don't have a good excuse. It was my fault. There was absolutely nothing in the way you treated me that made me weak that night. I absolutely will never let this happen to me again. I will never touch hard alcohol or weed again. I will never find myself in a hotel room with any man other than you again. Ever. She sobbed for a while. Marty, I will get on my knees to beg you if I have to. Please forgive me for this one time I went astray. Crocodile tears flowed. She looked back to see Martin's reaction. Martin was stunned. His wife admitting to cheating on him was the last thing on his mind. He remained silent with a stony face. In fact, what I did can hardly be qualified as treason. I hardly knew this man. It was just sex one time, and I barely even remember it. There is only one man I loved, and I still love him. I will spend the rest of my life asking you for forgiveness for this indiscretion. I will go to a psychologist to find out what in my psychological makeup could push me to such a terrible act. Although I think it was mostly due to alcohol and weed, I need to make sure there isn't something else in my brain that I need to pay attention to make sure I never do anything similar again. Kim, I certainly agree that you need counseling. I hope you don't believe that I have to go with you. I really don't want to hear any more details about how you were so easily seduced. Marty, I don't think I was easy to seduce. It was more like a perfect storm of alcohol, marijuana, and the environment. I felt safe in my room, but it only made me more susceptible to seduction. I can avoid this happening again. I know I can. Can't you see it? My mind is too clouded. Right now, I can't see anything clearly. Martin, maybe I can clear this up for you, honey. Let's say the shoe was on the other foot. Let's say you came to me and admitted to dating another woman. Would you like me to give up on you so quickly? Yes, it would hurt me, but I sincerely believe that I would agree to forgive you. Our marriage means too much to me to end it over something so small. I suppose you think it's easy for me to say this because the shoe is not on the other foot, but I can prove it. I'll let you go and find another woman to have sex with. I won't blame you for this. Once this is over, we will be even. We will forgive each other, and neither of us will go astray again. Kim, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You want us to heal a marriage by breaking the same cow twice. That makes as much sense as you trying to fix my broken leg by breaking yours. This would mean that neither of us would be healed and we would both have broken legs. Martin, there is someone else we should consider. Who? Your new boyfriend? No, of course not. I don't even know his name and I don't know how to contact him, and I don't want to know. I'm talking about our future children. One of the reasons I married you, and I think you married me, is because we wanted to share parenting responsibilities. What if the pills I've been taking for the last couple of weeks don't work, and I get pregnant? Would you leave me? Or the future? Martin? Or Martina? Would you be happy if the first baby we planned was on the way right now? I want to be able to count on you to be here to help raise our child. Are you saying you're pregnant? I don't think so, but I would really like to be pregnant. Honey, we could start tonight. I'll throw away my pills and we could practice making babies. Kim, I don't know if I want to have a child in this marriage now. I certainly don't feel like practicing when I'm imagining someone else enjoying something that was previously just mine. In fact, you've just added the possibility that you're carrying your lover's baby right now. It will be yours, and only yours. Let's go back to my mistake. I was not vigilant and allowed a thief to come and steal a small part of what belongs to you. I have already installed a more advanced safety and security system in my brain. From now on, you will be the only one who will have access to my body. To show you how confident I am, I will sign a post-nuptial agreement stating that I agree to leave the marriage with nothing if I ever have sexual relations with another man. This includes custody of any future children. You know how much it means to me to have children. I can't give you better proof than this. But I thought I already had your promise of exclusivity. You know, the one you said at our wedding. It was a vow you broke when you put yourself in a compromising situation with alcohol and marijuana. It was a vow you broke when you let him kiss you. It was the vow you broke when you realized you weren't wearing any clothes. It was the vow you broke that may have destroyed our marriage beyond repair. Please don't say you're serious. Our marriage can be fixed. That's how it should be. Why? Because you say so? No, because the alternative will cost you too much. If you divorce me, I will fight you to the end, not because I hate you, but because I know that staying married is what's best for both of us. Despite what you may think at this time. Moment. I would hate to do this, but I will hunt for every dollar, every painting, every cup, every pillowcase in the house, if it slows the process down. The more time you have to think about it, the more likely you are to realize how little it must mean to our marriage. Martin, I may even have to report mental abuse and neglect. Do you want your good name to be tarnished? When people find out what the problem was, you will be ridiculed for not forgiving me for my one mistake. Don't lose the rest of your treasure because one small piece was stolen. Martin, I'm trying to make you understand that not forgiving me isn't worth it. Put aside your wounded male pride just this once. There will never be a second time. Forgive me this time, this one mistake of mine, and let's move on together. Our dreams of living together and playing with our children and grandchildren can still be fulfilled if you will only forgive me. Kim, after listening to your concerns, I must admit that this is not a decision that should be made lightly or quickly. I need a little time to think. I think it will be better if I go away for a while to be able to do this. He went upstairs to pack his things. When Martin came down with his bag, Kim asked, Martin, how long will you be gone? I do not know yet. Will I see you and be able to talk to you during this time? Maybe if I need to do something for you or you need something to keep the household going while I'm gone. Marty, I love you. Please don't forget this. I know. I love you too, Kim. That's why it's so damn hard. Kim was on her best behavior during Martin's time out from her marriage. She was determined to get him back. She even returned to church. To friends who asked about her husband's absence, Martin was on sabbatical. Kim stayed home at night, although Connie and others encouraged her to go out sometimes, even if there were no men present. Several weeks passed, but Kim did not give in to temptation. As far as she knew, Martin could return home at any minute, so she stayed at home. More than a month passed before Martin called and asked Kim if he could come over that evening. He didn't even hint at what his decision was. She had wine and coffee ready in case he wanted one or the other. They sat at the kitchen table with coffee cups in their hands. Two pairs of sad eyes met. Kim started the conversation. What did you decide, Marty? Are you going to divorce me? No, I'm not going to divorce you. Kim's eyes filled with tears of joy. Oh, Marty, I'm so happy. I promise you that I will be the best. Wait, you may not be so happy when I tell you what I have decided. Kim's joy quickly evaporated. But you said that we are not going to get divorced. For the most part, this is true. Let me explain. I thought about giving you a second chance for a long time, but I couldn't get your betrayal out of my mind. I didn't know how to forgive without being able to forget. Every time I thought I was ready to forgive you, the memory of your confession of cheating would return, and my forgiveness would go away. I finally came to the conclusion that I couldn't continue our marriage unless I could somehow punish you. I thought I could put up with your infidelity if I got some measure of revenge. The question was, what was the right punishment for the sin you committed? I went to a friend for help. This friend advised me to go to a site called bestweapon.ru. There are stories in the Betrayal section about both reconciliation and stories about how to take revenge for betrayal. My friend advised me to ignore the stories of reconciliation and focus on the so-called stories of betrayal and revenge. I have to admit I was amazed at how much revenge on cheating wives varies greatly in type and severity. It was very educational. After reading a lot of stories about betrayal and revenge, I decided that even one betrayal of wedding vows was unforgivable. A wedding vow is supposed to last forever. Thus, a broken wedding vow makes the marriage broken forever. When I remembered your threat about how you would fight the divorce, the path became clear to me. Kim, I'm leaving you. I have a teaching position at another college, and I'm leaving tonight. I won't file for divorce, and you can have everything I leave behind. I only took half of our liquid assets. It may be difficult for you to maintain the house and pay the mortgage unless your lover is willing to help or you find a replacement for me soon. As you already know, you definitely have the looks to attract a lot of guys. Delaying my departure will only harm you and me even more. Goodbye, Kim. I truly loved you and truly wish you the best. Martin stood up and walked out the door. Kim ran to the door and saw a familiar car, saw a woman sitting in Martin's car. The sight of the passenger in Martin's car confirmed the assumption she had made as soon as he started talking about finding revenge stories on this popular site. Connie was there, kissing Martin as he got behind the wheel of his car. Kim walked up the driveway to the car but didn't say anything to Connie. It didn't make any sense. Her look probably conveyed the message she wanted to send to this bitch. Connie smiled and loudly promised her to take good care of Martin. As the car started to move, Connie stuck her right arm out of the passenger side window and lowered it so Martin couldn't see. She extended the middle finger of her right hand, smiling widely. Kim had to agree with her on one point. She screwed up royally.